This is as far as we can go on foot, it seems. We'll have to head back and see about fixing the boat.
Hey! Everyone all right?
Where now? Thanks to you. I was worried you might not catch up to you. Those caverns we traversed were dug by the MSQ in their search for gold. Remnants of their excavations can be found throughout this region. While I appreciate the lesson, oh wise guide, are we landing this boat anytime soon? Oh, rivet journey is almost over. For proof of that, you need only look ahead. The falls were impressive enough from a distance, but it's almost too much now. Yes, amazing. Now, please let me off. No more boats. Are you... Oh, you're not alright. I should be surprised if she was. Even without the nausea, we're all spent. There's a mountain shelter nearby. A resting spot for those who've ascended the stairs. I suggest we make use of it. That would be a welcome respite. Have you the strength for a short walk, Wuk Lamat? You can rest along the way too. Damn it all. A promise is meant to lead from the front, not mewl and moan like a sick kitten. Wuk Lamat. Ignore me. It's the nausea talking. I'm fine, really. Lead on, I follow. Very well. But if I might say one thing. Just because you're a promise or a claimant for a throne doesn't mean you can't be seen to struggle. We needn't bear this burden alone, so please, don't hesitate to talk to us. We're always willing to lend an ear. But Kryl, leaning on others is a skill all leaders require. Yours were Desiree? I've always believed this is my problem alone, but perhaps you have a right of it. Alright, I'll talk about things. Just give me a moment to collect my thoughts. Of course, as long as you need. We'll be waiting at the shelter when you're ready.
Welcome
welcome back to Final Fantasy XIV, where we are back in Kazamauga, but in the southern side and up the cliffs where we just went through the dungeon, the first dungeon with this boat here. Let's go. Wuk Lamat. Seasickness faded? I've long felt that I could never tell anyone when I was confused or hurting, but admitting to weakness would bring shame to Papa's name. But if you say you're willing to listen, then there are things I'd like to talk about. Come, let's catch up to the others. Battle track is growing on me. The place is called Many Fires, with a constant stream of peddlers and travelers who make camp here after climbing the stairs. Now that I've decided to share, I feel so nervous. This seems a cozy spot for Wuk Lamat to let her guard down. I know it can't be easy for her. This side of the region is so different from where the Hanu live. The striking colors of the vegetation alone. We should stop here for the night. I understand the desire to rush ahead, but we need to recuperate from our punishing river adventure. Then let's settle in. We need a cook fire and there's meal preparations to be done.
I've been meaning to ask, but how does one become the adopted child of the Dawn Servant?
I was but a ball of fuzz at the time, so I don't remember much. My earliest memories are of life in the palace. All I know is that I was born in Ikbrash, a village in Yaktel. But I've never bothered to return there. As far as I'm concerned, Ulul Jaja is my only parent.
I quite understand. I have no memories of my birth parents either. For a while, I wanted to learn who they were. But over time, that curiosity waned. Galuf was my dear grandfather, and he was all I needed.
So our situations were quite similar. Even though Papa already had a trueborn son, he raised me and Kona with no less love. One time, I'd wandered off alone into the forest and gotten lost. Before I became a meal for some beast, Papa dropped everything and came to my rescue. I was scared and sobbing and ready for a scolding. But the head of resolve praised me for surviving the ordeal. I did get my lecture from the head of reason, though. He went on and on about the dangers of the jungle and all the horrible ways I could have died. Growing up, Papa was kind and patient, but a tyrant when it came to training. Now, of course, I realize he was preparing me for my duties as a promise. For all the good it did. There's so much I failed to learn about my own country. Whether it's alpacas or Ihihana, I hardly know anything. I've lived such a sheltered life, yet convinced myself I understood Tural and its people. I don't have Kona's education. Or Zoralja's strength. I'm all bluff and bravado, not fit to bear my title.
Why do you want the throne?
Why? Because my father built a nation where everyone can live in peace. And I want to keep it that way. I think I see what you're saying. My reasons for joining the contest have nothing to do with my brothers. It's always been about the Turali and what I can do for them.
You said it yourself. How important it is to properly know something. To hear the voices of others, empathize with how they feel, and think how best to serve. In so doing, you'll come ever closer to being the person you wish to be.
I'm sorry, everyone. I've been a fool. From this moment on, I'll stop trying to be the promise I'm not. I won't feign strength to hide my weaknesses. Step by step, I'll learn all there is to know and love about Tulihyolal and my fellow Turali. It might not be the smoothest path, but it'll be a path of my own making.
Good.
I will find the City of Gold for all of us, along with the answers you seek about your grandfather, Kryl. I swear.
I appreciate it, Wuk Lamat, but you needn't take on that burden as well. Galuf Baldessian dedicated his life to protecting people from all manner of threats. As his granddaughter, I wouldn't wish to endanger others for the sake of a personal investigation. So let's just concentrate on winning the contest. We have a shared goal, and, if at all possible, I'd rather we enjoy the journey.
Hear, hear. We are companions on the same road, bound for the same destination. With our combined talents, nothing will stop us from reaching the Golden City.
Thank you. Thank you all. I am proud to call you my friends.
Meanwhile, in the second Promises camp.
Thank you. Thank you all. I am proud to call you my friends.
They seem to be enjoying themselves. Are you sure you don't want to go and say a word to your sister?
Nay, there is no need for that. But what of you two? Wuk Lamat's allies are your comrades. It must feel strange to be rivals.
Helping you has made us rivals, aye, but we're not about to break into fisticuffs over it. Unless, of course, it is a matter of winning or losing the contest. Then I'll have no qualms about putting Alizé on her rear.
Despite our long history, never have I been given the chance to test myself against our companions. The thought stirreth within me a most unexpected sense of competition.
Lamachi has surrounded herself with distinguished figures indeed. One of the Studium's finest graduates, the head of the students of Baldessian. And then there's Eorzea's vaunted champion. If she's half the hero you say, then the odds are stacked against us. Not that I've any intention of bowing out. Our time in Urkelpacha only served to strengthen my resolve. We saw how a single storm cut off the alpaca roots and threw my people's lives into disarray. Such uncertainties are why I advocate for the adoption of Sharlayan innovations, that Tuli Yolal might know greater stability and prosperity. Our nation can change for the better, and I will be the man to change it.
Well, it's a start. I imagine your experiences on this journey, all the things you'll hear and feel and think, will help you refine that approach. But to return to the subject of the rite, I'm a touch concerned by the condition for victory. The claimant who breaks the seal becomes Dawn Servant, not the one who performed the 7 feats first.
The would-be victor need only possess the 7 keystones.
That is correct. As the contest wears on, we must brace ourselves for greater conflict.
Meanwhile, with a first promise.
Your rivals still lag behind. The second and third promise may have recruited competent lackeys, but none compared to you. How can they hope to compete with the resilient son? The only child ever sired by a two-head. Only the ignorant or foolish could fail to see that you were born to be Dawn's servant.
Such titles mean nothing.
I neglected to mention. When I first heard the rumors that the contest involved the Golden City, I spoke in confidence with Gulul Jaja's inner circle. They all agreed on one thing. Whoever reaches the City of Gold will attain a power so great, it can dictate the course of history. If this power truly exists, then I humbly beg a fair share of it. Time is passing, and I would put my plans in motion without delay. The useless tool is cast aside after all. And just so there is no misunderstanding, you consent to this course, no matter who is made to suffer.
In battle, everyone bleeds. The Dawn's promise is no exception. What better lesson to teach our people the folly of war?
Earlier with Bakul Jaja.
I was hoping for a good scrap, but this bloated sack of bile was no challenge at all. I wonder if the house cat is dead yet. Be ashamed to lose a plaything, but we'd still have 2 more.
If I may ask, Chosen One, what are your plans for Tuliolal after you take the throne?
Plans? What makes you think we care about all that? We care only about the contest and proving our superiority. That would surely please Mother and Father. Yes, and when we become Dawn's servant, we'll drive out the weakling masses and invite our kin to live in the city. Fine idea! Our family deserves better than that rotten jungle. Back to it then. We must catch up to that one-headed pretender and remind him of the natural order.
I made it.
I thought we were missing someone. Where have you been?
Oh, I feared I was done for when I fell from the boat. Yet somehow I made it. Oh, my arms, I can barely lift them. If I could just rest a moment.
You expect us to wait for you? Those who can't keep up will be left behind. My brother has spoken. March, or be fodder for the beasts.
But I followed the teachings. Everything I've done, everything I've sacrificed, all has been for the blessed seedlings. Wait. Don't leave me behind! I'm begging you!
Still an S. It doesn't matter if Wuk Lamat's scared of alpacas or gets sick on boats. It doesn't change who she is and what she means to her people. I have some small experience with the pressures of leadership and crumbling beneath its weight, as you well know. If anything good can be said to have come of my failures, I hope it's in my capacity to help others avoid similar mistakes. I'm glad we could make a moment to talk things through. Wuk Lamat seems much happier for it. It's good to see Wuk Lamat more sure of herself. Being able to say those things has brought me a much relief. It's like a stone has been lifted off my chest and I can take a full breath at last. I don't want to encumber myself like that again. I want to be better. Will be better. For myself and for my people. Can now run the first dungeon with trusts. A leaking workpot. The moblin settlement of Earthenshire is not far from here, but be warned the road we'll be taking is favored hunting grounds for bandits. With the stairs currently impassable, there will be fewer travelers, meaning the brigands will be desperate for victims to ambush. Although considering present company, I suppose my concern is unwarranted. Bandits on the road? What have the Earthenshire and the Landsguard been doing? Seems it's up to me to restore order to the area. And off she goes again. For now, we head west and aim for the bank of the second river. So I haven't yet attuned. Good. Mining then? Oh, I see. This is a river which feeds a waterfall above Okano. Again and again I'm struck by the majesty of the falls. It is difficult to comprehend the sheer volume of water this natural wonder produces. I felt eyes on us several times as we made our way here, but I soon seemed to lose interest. The bandits' lair is said to be somewhere near here, but I prefer to avoid seeking out trouble. Well, where are these bandits? A Apparently we're not foolish enough to attack a party of this size. Earthenshire is just a little farther ahead, on the opposite bank of Miakabes Sommer, but let's remain vigilant all the same. So this is Earthenshire. Even the Hanu culture is distinct from the Vanu. Moblin society is developed quite differently from that of their goblin cousins. Not another claimant in sight. Does it mean we're ahead or behind? Goodness me, it's like the entire village is made of pottery. This is it, the village where the lay of pots from the Tuliyola saga took place. Earthenshire. Idleshire? Might the similarity be a cultural inclination, I wonder? The settlements themselves couldn't be more different though. The Shire appears custom built to resemble pots, and the other is a repurposed town. Welcome to Earthenshire. Do I have the pleasure of happy greeting the third promise interpreting you? That's us. We're looking for the Dawn Servant's Elector, if we happen to know who that is. You are exchanging tongue flaps with her right now. Ready Rock is the Elector you seek. Oh, that's helpful. We can cut straight to performing repeat. As much as Ready Rock would like to do just that, we have so much more pressing worry. The storm which hit our village shattered the cliffs and dropped rocks on our brain cases. Many hellpants for the Potsworn were injured. This is no time for feats or metal tests. I'm sorry to hear that. After learning what the storm did to the stairs, I feared you'd been caught in its path. Not to change the subject, but what are the Potsworn? Goldsmiths contracted to work for the moblins. The word comes from the pot-like workshops where they practice their craft. The moblins provide these Potsworn with tools, materials, living quarters, everything the artisan could possibly need. This allows them to concentrate on producing what is widely known as the finest gold and metalwork in Tyrell. This is unacceptable. I was promised no distractions. If this is the best they can offer, I should have never left much room, Meki. You see, the Potswan desert us. Without enough healthy help-hands, we are failing to uphold our side of the pot pact. Should all our Potswan leave, Earthenshire will grind to a halt. We have to do something and do it soon. Then let us stand in for the injured helpers. It would give me the chance to learn more about your people and your village. If it brings us closer to beginning the feed, then all the better. This isn't strictly part of a contest, so don't feel obligated to join in. Take a rest while you can. Of course I help. I was hoping you'd say that. I actually wasn't sure I could do this on my own. We'll all help. I doubt any of us could just sit around and watch. We'll take any help hand we can get. Ready Rock Truth swears that once the Spotswan have their perfect workshop again, we will commence the feat with all haste. You and the third promise can assist help hand Makarok. You other four, follow Ready Rock. There are other help hands in need of hand landing. I really appreciate you pitching in. I meant what I said at many fires. There will be no foreign strength. No more playing at being an invincible promise. There's one thing I learned on the journey. It's how practiced you are at aiding those in need. And I mean to make the most of having such an incredible mentor at my side. Now let's find this Rakorok fellow and see what we can do for him. I think I found our help hand. First we solve this problem for the moblins, then we see about completing their feat. Rock can't meet his obligations without more help hands. The pot pact is broken and the pots are emptying. You've come to aid Rakorok. Rakorok accepts your hand landing with joyous field smiles. If we can offer the Potswan their promised good living, we might save a day yet. Whatever you need. Lending a help hand. What Rakorok needs is for new help hands to create good living for Potswan Kahi. The help hand assigned to Kahi was hurt during the rock's reign. So Rakorok took over, but he knows nothing of Kahi. What does Kahi want? What does Kahi need? Help hand do not bother the Potswan with straight tasks. Our job is to observe and anticipate, to prepare things with guess think. Please, guess think with Rakorok. Find out what Kahi is lacking so we can provide it. You can count on us. Kahi is only one of many Potswan in need of caretaking. We work through the night with no sleep and no rest, but there's too few of us to go around. So, this is where Kahi works, is it? Let's take a peek inside then. This must be Kahi. It'd be a lot quicker if we could just talk to him, but that's not the way they do things around here, apparently. We have to leave him be and try our hand at some guessing. Inspect the workshop. You may move the camera as well as zoom in and out. Target a point of interest and examine it in more detail with mouse click. He must be boiling sitting so close to the furnace, and there's no airflow to speak of. How could anyone work in that stifling heat? These tools are looking pretty worn down. Maybe it's time for some new ones? Well, he has no shortage of crafting materials. There must be something else he's missing. Okay, he has a meal. He's barely touched his meal. That dish is meant to be eaten or hot, or it loses its savior. Alright, after taking a good look, I think I have an idea of what things Kai might want to improve his working conditions. Let's head back outside and talk to Ragnarok. You made your observations. What did you guys think? First off, I noticed Kahi hasn't touched his food, and an empty belly can't be good for his concentration. Maybe the cooking isn't to his liking? But our food is very mouth-pleasing. Why wouldn't he want to eat it? But Ragnarok is sure of nothing when it comes to Kahi's tastes. I can help you with that. My brother Guana is also Red Sorrow, and while everyone has their personal preferences, there's some things they tend to share. Like an aversion for piping hot dishes. If it was brought to him like that, Kahi probably wouldn't have been able to eat until it cooled down. By the time he came back to it, he might have found it cold and unappetizing. The simplest solution is to serve dishes that taste good no matter the temperature. Ragnarok never would have thought of that. Would the third promise mind explaining these things to our cook? Not at all, but I don't think that's the only reason Kahi couldn't concentrate. Red Sorrow homeland is hot and dry, but even Kahi seemed to be suffering in front of that furnace. Is there any way he could cool down the workshop? Oh, we could try drafty hunts. They make lovely breeze. You know where we can get one of those? You can gather them from shoals of no return. There are many old boats there, abandoned by those who gave up on their search for the Golden City. So we salvaged them from the wrecks. Could you handle that for us, Desiree? Oh, and one more thing. From what I could tell, Kahi's files and saws and things were very worn down. Maybe a new set of tools is in order? Ragnarok was too preoccupied with stocking materials, a serious oversight which he will rectify. Supplying good tools for good living is a hell-bent responsibility. Then we all have work to do. We can meet back here when our tasks are done. The shoals of no return are past the cracks, through a tunnel southeast of here. You should be able to spot the passage just from outside the village. So, where we are else? Not to find right now? Okay. You're Desiree, aren't you? What brings you out here? The issue of caring for the Potswan. When they approached me with that same problem, I suggested they commission artisans in Charlian instead. The quality of craftsmanship would be guaranteed after all. However, the moblins did not care for the idea. Surely it would be more effective to engage a uniformly trained collective? I cannot understand their fixation on individual contracts. Perhaps the custom will make more sense once we begin the feat of pots. Until then, we've been deemed unfit to assist in the matter of help hands, and are instead tasked with tending the injured. We were on our way back from procuring herbs for Yuanjie, in fact. Settlements in Kozamaruka too have been isolated by the storm's destruction. What would have become of the wounded had we not found a way here? Should I become Dawn Servant, one of my first acts will be to establish reliable trade routes to the capital. When I imagine how much good we can achieve with Charlian technology. My apologies, I have much to consider. If you will excuse us. We'll meet again soon, I'm sure. Take care, Desiree. You spot the tunnel opening. Head through the passage to the shoals of no return and recover the drafty hand. Now the fiery orange crystal is surely not the drafty heart. The crystalline shard is faintly warm to the touch. Does not appear to be the wind crystal you seek. Pale blue, bright green sounds fancy. The crystalline shard emanates a soothing whisper of wind. It seems you found the crystal Ragnarok sent you to salvage. Honestly, from the name Drafty Art, I would not have known we were looking for a crystal. Is that a cool Bleach Ragnarok field? Yes, thank you for finding a drafty art. Ragnarok will add it to a new set of tools he brought. And I come bearing good food tidings. The cook has prepared a feast fit for the most discerning Red Sorrow, and it's on the way even as we speak. Let's go in and see what Kahif thinks of our efforts. I was wondering what occasion called for me to receive so many visitors. A fine meal, new tools, and a welcome source of cool air. Now I remember why I signed the Pot Pact. I'm grateful for your kind considerations. Allow me a moment or two and I reciprocate the peace worthy of a Potswan. An oil lamp to brighten the halls of Volok Shunsa. The craftsmanship satisfied Earthenshire's reputation for quality, I trust. Such luster, such brilliance. Truly a gift fit for the Dawn Servant. I'm glad you like it, considering the time I've wasted till now. I hope to continue crafting at this improved pace. I have a contract to fulfill after all. Forgive my interruption. Lamity, I'm told the Elector has deemed the crisis past and is prepared to task us with a feat. That's great news. Thank you for letting me know. So this is the craft of a potsworn. It is indeed a masterful piece. Thank you for your words of praise, Second Promise. I drew inspiration from Kozamauka's natural beauty and sought to capture it in my work. I wondered why the moblins did not simply build a workshop in the city, and now I have my answer. Even Charlian goldsmiths could not easily replicate such exquisite artistry. One cannot create great things if one lacks creative impetus. Tuliola, fortunately, does not want for inspiration. Anyone wishing to learn the basics of a craft would do well to study it there. I was raised among Hatzaro more traditional than most, and the shared ingenuity of Tural's various peoples was eye-opening. You lived as a traditional Hatzaro? I have few fond memories of nomadic life. Would that I could forget that time. I tried a serving of a dish we prepared for Kai. Was so good I had a second helping. Rakurok is very grateful to you. I thank you both for your hard work and clever guessing. When it comes to help blending, knowing the potsworn really is important. Well, that's true for pretty much everyone you meet. It's a lesson I've had drummed into me several times already on this journey. Okay, but I think I end this episode here and will continue this next time. And when? A mace and don't get lost.